Welcome to The Land, your Bet Sports Betting Show. 6 WNBA games here on Tuesday night, the most by far that I've had to bet on so far this season. Going to be taking a look at each and every one of them, giving you the insights and the matchup data that you need to get those bets down. Also giving you some stayaways and some things that I'd avoid betting on here on Tuesday night as well. Coming off about 1.5 units won there on Sunday. Really nice night in the NBA as well for that game 5. Got about 8 bets out of the 10 we made correct, made 6 units. So feeling really good about all of it. Got the link to the description, got the link to the VIP in the description of the video, I should say. So if you want to check that out, that's where it is for you. But go ahead and give this video a like, and let's get into everything we've got for Tuesday in the W. As we jump into these player props, share my screen using propsmadness.com. This is the #1 sports betting research tool for all things WNBA, props and the like, man. Like, you're not going to find the data that they have for the W here anywhere else. Still don't really know where he's pulling this data from, but the fact that we have shot charts, play type analysis, the like, that's stuff you're not going to find on any other platform. So if you do want to get in on this, it's about $25 a month, but get yourself 25% off using code LYB. That's on the first month there. You can also use that code to get a 7-day free trial. See if you like it, test it out for yourselves before you get into it. But let's kick it off with this first game here. We got the Dream at the Liberty. Liberty are about 8.5 point favorites, and a couple of things that I'm looking at here just to caution people with. I could easily see the Liberty just absolutely dominating this game. At home, they're winning by 22.8 points per game, right? Their net rating is about 30. Just so you know what that means. It means that if they played 100 possessions per game, they would be winning by an average of 30 points per game. As it is, they're winning by about 23. So I would be cautious here, because the other thing about the Dream is they've looked good for a decent amount, and they're getting healthier, which is definitely helpful. Jordan Canada healthier. Brittany Griner seems to be past her injuries as well. Problem is like they played a cupcake schedule this season so far. Just really bad teams. The best teams that they played at this point for the Dream, they're really not playing anybody in the top 5 or 4 so right now in the standings in the NBA, other than the Fever. They played them like 3 times. Other than that, they played nobody. So I could easily see this getting out of control pretty quickly. I trust the Liberty a lot more than I trust the Dream. The Dream are kind of right on the fringe there in terms of a top tier team. They're like the next step down from the Liberty as well as from like the Lynx. Not quite in that first level with those squads. I'd even put Phoenix above them. But that all said, there's a couple bets that we can make here for this one. I don't think I'm going to have anything for Stewie, but if I'm starting with Sabrina, the first bet I like for her is actually an under on the rebounds and assists at 9.5, if you can get that. There's a couple of things here, right? She's only at 8.7 on the season. The blowout would definitely help us with an under if Sabrina's minutes go down a bit. But then you look at the matchup here for them, and the Dream are just going to be a lot better at limiting everything that she wants to do. If you look at the Dream, #1, limiting rebounds to her position. #1, limiting assists to her position as well, right? For Sabrina here. #2, rather, on the assists against the guards. If you hover over the game that they're about to play here on Props Madness, you'll see second best limiting assists are the Dream. And they're just really good up top, man. This is like the #1 defense limiting assists up top. They're going to be a top 3 defense limiting points above the break as well. If we look at the shot chart here, second best limiting above the break threes. If you look at the play type analysis here, the only thing they give up is points to the pick and roll ball handler, but they really limit everything else super well. So as the primary here, the rebounds and the primary ball handler, I should say, for Sabrina, the rebounds and the assists are a nice under for me against this squad. And again, if this thing gets out of control in any way, shape, or form, then we don't have to worry too much about Sabrina doing this later in the game as well. Those minutes should be coming down. As we look at down the list here a bit, I really, the only other player I'm considering right now for the Liberty is Jonquel Jones. On the points, 13.5 is still beatable. If you look at her last year, she had some really good numbers against Brittany Griner. That's kind of what I'm looking at as well. And that might be a big part of it, right? Like, she's needed against Griner, and that ends up being a reason why she gets a few more minutes. Last year, she averaged 16 points per game when she played against Griner in about 33 minutes per game when she played against the Mercury last year for Griner. This year, obviously, the Dream that Griner's on. But that was the only other real over I like. Even for Stewie at 20.5 points with Jonquel Jones coming back, it's just a bit over her averages. And again, in the games where they've blown teams out, you can see she's definitely going under more consistently. So I don't really love anything for Stewart in this game either. But looking at the other side of the ball, as much as I think that this team's not going to win in terms of the Dream playing on the road against I don't want to call them best team in the league, but a top 2 team in the league with the Lynx, right? this is still too low. I mean, this season for Alicia Gray has just been, she's been on a tear, right? 25.5 PRA when she's averaging more than 30 per game. I'm not really that concerned with her doing it against the Liberty, who aren't even that good up top. If you look at their defense up top, they're giving up the third most points per game above the break. The spot up shot is something that they're giving up a lot of as well. They definitely try to over pressure the ball and get those steals and turn them into points from the turnovers. But like Sabrina Ionescu plays defense up top, and she's straight up bad, man. Like it's kind of like Luka Doncic if you're looking at a comparison for a player that's incredible on offense and just not good on defense. Maybe would be good if you saw the effort, but I watched Sabrina play, man, and the effort up top is suspect at best. Let's say when she's just playing some of that Olay kind of defense. She'll be on Alicia Gray for a decent amount, right? You're not going to put her on Ryan Howard. That's for damn sure. That'll be probably a lot more Natasha Cloud. Might even see Stewie on Ryan Howard at times, knowing that she's the best defender for the Liberty. But either way, Alicia Gray ain't getting the best defender. She's probably not getting one of the top two defenders on the Liberty here. Natasha Cloud maybe be on her a bit, but either way, Alicia Gray, the averages here at 31, 25.5 just because she's playing against the Liberty. I'm not concerned about that at all. So we're going to give her the minutes. We're going to give her the better matchup. I'm going to go with over on the PRA for Alicia Gray. Getting into Connecticut and the Fever here. Go ahead and give this video a like if you're getting anything out of what we're doing in the W this season. Going to be coming back all season long with these games, so definitely want to make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. This is an 18.5 point spread, y'all, so I would tread very cautiously here. We don't really get the backups to bet overs on. I'd be going unders before I went overs for starters, pretty much on both sides of the ball here. For Caitlin Clark, 21.5. It's just high for someone that I don't think needs to score, right? I would actually be going for the assist for CC if I was going to bet an over on her tonight. Maybe even like under on the points, plus the getting like an over on the assists here, because I think she's going to be diming up a lot against the Sun. They give up a ton of everything everywhere, but definitely the assists as well. 11th most assists allowed overall in the season. I mean, it's not like they're good against the points by any means, but she's going to get a lot of these dimes down low. 61% of her assists end up inside the painted area and down low within 5 feet. So, you know, the players like Aaliyah Boston and company are going to get a lot of benefit from her just finding them down low, where this team gives up a ton of points due to the Sun. They don't really have anybody helping down low. Tina Charles once was a pretty good defender down low, certainly ain't going to be that at this point in her career, dealing with everything coming at her for the Fever. So I think, you know, there's going to be a lot going on. We're going to see CC with the ball in her hands the whole time. The only thing that really threatens the assist play for her here is going to be whether or not she needs to be in the game later in it, right? But that's why I wouldn't be really looking at the over on the points. I don't know that she's going to need to show out the same way that she just did against the Liberty, pulling 35 footers to impress everybody on national television. Probably not going to be the case here in this game on Tuesday night. So I'd be cautious going over on her. I'd lean under on the points, over on the assist. That's my look for CC on Tuesday night. Let's get out of that game and get right to the aces and the Lynx, because I do think we've got some looks here. First of all, Fiza playing out of her damn mind. Fiza Collier, 26.1 points per game this season, leads the league, 3.9 boards and the 8.8 dimes, and, or excuse me, 8.8 boards and the 3.9 assists is where we're at with the Fiza Collier. But what I'm looking at here is, I mean, if you want the PRA, this was 37.5, 36.5. Those are both very beatable numbers. Once you get up to 36 to 37, 38.5, rather, you're starting to lose me on the prop here for her. This game, it's only 8.5 points in the spread, but without Asia Wilson, who's also going to be out once again, it looks like, could easily see this thing getting out of control in favor of the home squad here for the Minnesota Lynx. But I do like the assists over for her. We're still getting plus money for her to get 5, or the points and assists, because even in that blowout win against the Sparks where they won by 23, she still had 32 points in 31 minutes. If Asia's not down low, right, this team has been second best limiting points inside 5 feet, have the Aces defense. If Asia ain't down low, then Fiza's not only going to have her way everywhere else on the court, but also down low right next to the bucket. I got to imagine she's going to be posting up everybody who tries to stop her. Good luck if it's Jackie Young, maybe Hayes at this point, but I don't trust anybody to limit her, right? I don't care if she's playing the Liberty. I don't trust Stewie to limit her at this point right now, the way that she's playing. So points and assists, or the assists, that's where I'd be going for the over for her. I don't really like too much for the other players that we're actually getting props for this Lynx squad. I think with Kayla McBride I do lean to the over for her, but 15.5 is just, it's fair, right? Like I wouldn't be going under, because the thing with Kayla this season is when they're playing a team that's good, or a team that she's needed to play against for a few more minutes, then I'm going to like McBride a bit more. But this is a good perimeter defense overall for the Aces here, and they're good against the spot up, right? And we know that's what McBride does the most. Very lethal shooter so far this season, making a ton of threes, but I would honestly not be going over on the threes, despite the fact that she's averaging 3 per game. This Aces defense is a bit better, second in terms of the perimeter defense, and especially something they're going to have to focus on with no down low presence to help block shots. Kirsten Bell gets out there a bunch, but she doesn't really block shots very much, so they don't have that rim presence right now like they relied on with Asia down there basically since she got to the league. So at this point, even the threes, I think they're going to have to press up because they know that they can't give up the threes since they're probably going to be giving up a bit more down low. So I don't like the stuff for Kayla McBride. I'd be leaning towards the under for her on the points. Again, if this was Asia Wilson out there, I might actually like it more because then McBride would be locked in. The usage would go up. The minutes would stay high. Don't know if I can rely on that in this game for McBride. If you're worried about this being a close game, then the under for Jackie Young on the PRA would also be the look here. We're getting 29.5 on all these books. If you have ESPN bet, I would take this under 31.5 real quick. This is not a number that she's going to hit very often. Even the 29.5, I understand that Asia's out. And if you look at the last 2 games without Asia, definitely did really well. 36 PRA, but only 23 against the Mercury. And this Lynx defense, definitely better than the Mercury defense. And the Mercury defense is good, by the way. I'd give it a top 3, top 4 rating for sure. But the Lynx might have the best defense in the league, top 2, top 3, without question for them. And if you look at up top, that's what's so key about stopping Jackie Young. This is the number 1 defense against threes that are taken above the break. They're really good against the pick and roll ball handler. They do not give you points in transition. They don't really foul too much either. All the ways that Jackie Young wants to score, don't trust it for her. As far as the assists and the rebounds, she has not proven to be getting much of those, even when Asia's off the floor. She's still averaging about 8.5, 9 RA combined, rebounds and assists combined, per 36 minutes when she plays without Asia Wilson. That's the on-off court stuff between she and Asia. So it's not like the rebounds and assists really go up for her without Wilson. The points do. The points go up without Asia for sure, as they have in these last couple games. Last game, tough matchup again, 15 points, 14 shots. I would continue to think that that's the line for her. This 29.5 on the PRA, I think should be much further down, probably about 26.5, 27.5. That's fair even without Asia playing in this one. And without Asia, she's just going to get more attention on defense from the better defenders on this Lynx squad. So I got to be looking at an under on the PRA here for Jackie Young. And the last thing I'll bring up here is Jewel Lloyd, because she's taken 8 threes in each of the last 2 games. And I really want to take her to make 3 threes again, because 3 for 8 for Jewel Lloyd is very realistic. I mean, honestly, she's closer to 45% at points in her career. It just has not been good this season. Well, in the last 2 without Asia, she's taken 8 threes in each of those 2 games, which I believe she has not. She's taken 8 threes 2 other times on the season before Asia was missing. Now she's putting them up, and we're getting plus 150. Even with this defense as good as it is for Minnesota, number 1 above the break defense, like I said, really good limiting 3-point attempts as well in the top 10. I can't really get next to it, but plus 150, I might have to sprinkle at least half a unit on Jewel Lloyd for the threes. That's how I'd be playing her in this game. Mystics and Sky here, and we don't really have any injuries that we really need to talk about in this one. Most of the players are going to be available for them. But the thing I'm looking at here for especially for this Mystics squad is they played 2 games in a row that they don't really help us with the stats or anything that we would want to look at here for them. In the last 2 games for this Washington squad, they lost by 33 and they won by 37, right, in these back-to-back games. So the last couple games, do with those the stats for those players what you will. But I think Sonia Citron and the other rook, Kiki Iriafan, are still valuable in terms of their overs if you wanted to take them. Citron more than anybody. She's fast becoming a top 5 player for me in the NBA, WNBA. Not best top 5, my personal top 5 and favorite player to go on. But the bet we continue to go back to for her is 10 plus points, 4+ rebounds. Now, I told you she didn't get it in each of the last 2 games, but again, we're talking about massive blowouts that are really tough to predict minutes or, for that matter, stats for all these players. So I still think plus money for the 4 boards by itself is a good number. And if you look at the 10 plus points with the 4 boards, she has not gotten fewer than 10 points all season. We don't have a PR bet right now for her anywhere listed, points and rebounds combined, but I'd be playing that at 16.5 as well for the PR combo right there. But either way, both of these are good. I'll probably be playing both of them as a parlay. Probably play the points and the rebounds separate as well, and just get a bunch of these bets down on Sonia Citron in what is always going to be a good matchup. I mean, even when you look at the boards, the Sky team is 3rd best limiting rebounds overall, but they're second worst limiting rebounds to guards, right? Because they don't get the long rebounds. If it's a long rebound, it's up for grabs. Down low, Cardoso and Angel Reese makes sense that they're going to limit rebounds for centers and power forwards. But when it comes to guards, not the case. I do think Citrone continues to get her hands dirty down low on the boards and should be good for 4+ boards and at least 10+ points. 13.5, you're starting to get out of my wheelhouse here, but 10+ points combined with the boards, that's the way that I'd be liking to play this. Now, ERFN is a little bit more of a wild card because we've got so many good players in the front court for Washington, right? We're going to be seeing Shakira Austin. We're going to see Aaliyah Edwards. And both those players are going to be taking some time away from Kiki, who has played a good amount of minutes for the most part. But when the full squad is out there, she's closer to like 26 to 28 minutes in that range. When we've seen Shakira Austin and company missing, she gets up to like the 28 to 35 minute range here earlier in the season when Austin was missing, Edwards was missing. But as soon as those players came back, she gets back down to the mid to late 20s in the minutes here. So it's hard to bet an over for her, but this would be a player that she's just raking up the usage. She looks awesome. Like even when she only played, she played 21 minutes, took 9 shots. Prior game, she played 26 minutes, still took 8 shots. Even when she's not playing that much, she's very, very involved in the offense. But I need her to be up in the 28-minute mark for me to like these props here, at whatever number we're getting. If I was going to play an over for her, it would be the PR overall here combined. But again, I'm not sure if I can trust her minutes or not, so I got to take a closer look at the rotations and projected minutes for these players tomorrow when those come out. All right, a couple more games here. Looking at the Valkyrie, they are in Dallas playing the Wings here. And a couple things we should know for the Valkyrie, they're not going to have a couple of their key players. Temi Fagbenle is not going to be out there. Salon is not going to be out there. Julie Van Loo not going to be out there. All three of those players going to be out playing for their national teams there in FIBA, in that tournament, the Euros that's coming up, right? So a bunch of the Euro players going to be out for that tourney, and that's going to be big for the Valkyries, who I still say are the most underrated team in the league without question. Look really good on defense. I'd still be playing some overs though for some players. Paige, I think, is going to be good for an over. The defense for the Valkyries. Look, number one, limiting stuff 5 feet from the basket because they pack the paint, right? They're trying to keep you from getting shots down low, but that makes them the 12th worst defense from 3, essentially. Like they're going to be a bottom 2, bottom 3 defense, giving up 3-pointers, right? We've taken players like Kelsey Plum overs because she scores from outside. So both Arike and Paige probably going to be good. Arike's been a lot better in the last 3 games, basically since Paige came back. She hasn't really had to do, she's quite as much on ball, can play a lot more off ball, had 8 threes attempted against the Aces, played really well with the 26 points. Both she and Paige I like for the points in this one against the Valkyrie. And then if you're talking about the Valkyries, like Kayla Thorin's been a killer, absolute killer. Bunch of double-doubles in a row here. 3 straight double-doubles for her, and we're still getting her on the PR at about 22.5. It's the minutes, right? Like 36 minutes, 35 minutes, 36 minutes. That's what she's played in the last 3 games. That's propelled her. And now we're talking about her playing, again, without their starting center, Fagbenle. They're probably going to have mostly forwards out there. They're not really going to have a center at this point. Like, I guess Monique Billings would be the center, but really it's just all forwards. And she's a forward too. So with Thornton out there, getting the minutes, being such a priority on offense. If you look at the shot attempts for her, 14, foul 18, and 16. So she's at 16 in the last 3 games. This is a really nice trend for her. And if you keep her at this volume of minutes and shot attempts, all that stuff, which I only have the reason to keep keeping her there because, like I said, they're going to be a thinner roster than normal. And I think Kayla Thornton is good for the PR at 22.5. Would play this up to 23.5 to the over for her. Honestly, same with Burton. We're getting a pretty good number on Veronica Burton for both points or PRA. I think she's good for both of them. I'll probably end up playing both of them because the usage should be super high for her. And this should be a closer game than she, not really getting blown out. They're actually on a nice little 3-game win streak for the Valkyries here. But it should be a close game, not a closer than anything, but still should be a close one. The Wings playing better. They're a lot healthier. Shouldn't be like a blowout the way that the Wings have been bad for most of this season. I think this is going to be a pretty close game, but Burton's usage is going to be super high. Her minutes have now really sort of shot up and rested at about the low to mid 30s. And again, with a shorter rotation and a smaller, thinner lineup, I should say, with players missing for the Valkyries, we're going to continue to like both her and Thornton to get theirs in this game. For Burton, it's either PRA or points, both of those to the over. Last game of the night, got the Storm in LA against the Sparks, and the Sparks are going to be missing a couple of key players. Kelsey Plum's not available. Her props are still pulling through, but she's not going to be playing in this game, and neither is Odyssey Sims. So their 2 guards, starting guards, are not going to be available for the Sparks, and that actually leads me to an under for Dearica Hamby here. I'm going to be going under on the PRA. I think this is probably going to get up to 34.5 if we're looking at it. For some reason, Kelsey Plum's still pulling through on some props, but not going to be available. neither is Sims, and Dearica Hamby scores 3/4 of her points. About 75% of her points come off of assisted field goals, right? And if you look at the PRA in the season as a whole, she's at 29.3, under this in 9 of 12. And just because Plum is out and so is Sims doesn't mean she's going to be better or have a ton more usage. If anything, it's going to be tougher to get her the ball without those players. And the Storm, a very good paint defense, third best limiting points, right where she wants to score at the bucket for Hamby. So I think the PRA as a whole is a good under for her. This game might not be that close either, with so many key players missing for the Sparks, and the Storm are fully healthy in this one. So yeah, I love an under for Hamby. I like an over for Stevens, and we still are getting a ton of discrepancy. Azura Stevens is at 11.5 points on a few books, where she's at 13.5 on others. This is just a bottom price right here. She had a bad game against the Lynx in just 18 minutes. The whole team did. They got smacked by them. And this game was over at the half, right? So Stevens lost all the minutes here, but now we're talking about her without Plum, without Sims. Going to be needed to get those shots up for sure. And 11.5 is just a low price, even against a pretty good defense here like the Storm. 11.5 is just too low. I'm playing the number for Stevens, who, by the way, also has about 2 points per possession in the minutes that she's played without Plum. So she's actually the number one scorer on the squad, with all the minutes of Plum off the floor, right? So if you look at the on-off stuff for her with Plum, when Plum is out, Azura Stevens is their top scorer so far. Now, Rakia Jackson's missed a bunch of time. She should also be in line for a bunch of shots. But bottom line is I'd be going over on Stevens and Jackson before Hamby. And Stevens has the best value because her points prop at 11.5 is just too low. For those of y'all following along, you know Gabby Williams is one of my favorite players in the league, and we're still getting 21.5 PRA for her at a good number, -110, -114. I would definitely be taking that, man. I mean, there's a couple of things the books are doing wrong here. First of all, the points prop for her is 14. She needs to get 14 of those, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds. 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 14 is 23. But the PRA, she only needs 22. So we're getting a little discount here, right? She needs 22 if you combine them all. She needs 23 total if you look at them all individually. So we're getting a nice little, like I said, discount on the PRA as a whole. That's the first thing. The other thing is she's so much better than, like I said, 24.5 PRA in 30-minute projection is what I have for Gabby Williams every game. The Valkyries did a great job, really surprised the Storm as they continue to surprise everybody on the season. She played 32 minutes, didn't shoot well. Other players were much better and much more involved in this last game than Gabby Williams, so she just didn't get the usage quite the same. Don't expect that in this one. I expect her to continue to come back out, go back up over the 21.5 PRA, which is what she's at on the season. All right, really nice hit rate, over very consistently. And a couple of these unders were because, once again, either she didn't shoot well or she didn't quite get the usage because she was battling some injuries. Totally healthy now. We'll give her the benefit of the doubt against a good Valkyries defense in the last one and take her over on the PRA in this one. All right, y'all, that's all the time I have for you. Reminder, if you do want to get all these WNBA plays and the exact picks that I'm making so you don't miss any of those, head over to the link in the description of the video. That'll get you over to the WNBA Season Pass, get you a nice little discount on the monthly price if you're interested in jumping into the VIP Discord. So hope to see y'all in there. And until I do, happy betting.